Everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Robbie Crager, the Flip Flop Flipper, and today I'm here with my friend Chris Rivera. Chris, we haven't seen each other since the San Juan cruise, which we just got off less than a month ago.
March, yeah,
just last month.
Awesome cruise, don't it?
It was amazing. It was really, really great. Chris was one of the co-hosts. You were one of the co-hosts of the group.
I had the privilege to be part of the team, and I'm still are.
Yeah.
Ready for next year.
You were my lifeline for dinner like half of the time.
Well, we did 3 dinners together.
Yeah.
Which gave us the opportunity to talk about projects and opportunities and deals and all that stuff, which is I think the biggest win in the cruise.
Yeah.
Was the amount of business that was.
It was amazing. Davin was in recently, and we talked just like this, and he said $100 million worth of deals that were going to be done from the 200 and 250 people or so that were on this cruise together. And guys, if you've never been on a cruise before, one, it's a great way to travel. It's a really nice time to get to see different cultures and see different places. Have fun. But two, if you can go with a group, like it just takes the experience and kicks it up a notch. So if I did anything wrong on this cruise, it was that the first few days we didn't really plug in. We just thought we're on vacation and we didn't plug into the group. But by the end, we were interacting with the group. And by the end, we had met some great people. We had made friends. And, actually there were a couple of business things that came of it, So you and I are going to do something together. And I went on the cruise knowing that maybe you and I would talk about some real estate. But the other two weren't in my alley. I wasn't expecting it. So it's just kind of what happens here in Puerto Rico. There's so many smart people, so much collaboration, and there's lots and lots of great opportunities.
Since the cruise, I invested some money in the Bitcoin mining.
Okay.
I signed already a contract with the AI for medical invoicing, and I already signed a contract with one of the guys for HR benefits with federal taxes and stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah.
I hadn't even heard about those. So I'm looking at, this is kind of the stuff that went on this cruise and why you guys should consider going next year. And we'll give you an opportunity before the end of the video to email Chris or I and get yourself on the list. But it's a great time. But anyways, I'm looking at the diabetes, the type 2 diabetes.
Yes.
We can't call it a cure, but it's a reversal of type 2 diabetes possibly. And
it's a special treatment with very good benefits for people who suffer from diabetes. I'm on that too. I have already a doctor in with me.
Okay.
And we talk already about your spaces.
Yeah.
And
good. Covians Plaza maybe, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Canovanas, I think, is also a good place.
Canovanas would be perfect. Yeah.
And but we have already the doctor who signed with the project. Mm-hmm. Now I'm waiting for them to send me everything else that we need to do to make sure that the health insurance will pay for that.
Yeah.
But that was born in the cruise.
Yeah. And the last one that I'm pretty interested in is this golf simulation. I don't know if you saw that.
I saw that.
That was really exciting. So those are the 3 kind of deals that I kind of came off of the cruise with. The one that I'm sure we're going to do is the one that we'll talk about next, which is with you doing low-income housing, and why we're kind of here today to talk about Puerto Rico and real estate. And there is a housing shortage on the island. And there has been for years now.
Yes.
Really no new housing development or very little new housing development for
especially low income.
Especially low income. And so we've got a piece of land that we bought because we're opportune buyers and the bank was in trouble on it. You can build a couple hundred houses there, and maybe we're hopefully going to partner with Chris.
I'm pretty sure we are.
I'm
pretty sure we are. My partner is very positive. Today I spoke with Imram to do the power attorney so he can go to Junta de Planificación and work out everything that is needed to do the project.
Yeah.
We have the blueprints. We've been studying. We've been doing numbers. So I think we'll be a week or 2 weeks away from closing this deal and make something, we want to start as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Low-income housing is a need. As a developer, you don't make as much money if you want to be considered with the end user, which is the people in need.
Yeah.
And we have a very special purpose with helping people. Besides,
that's your heart.
Right. That's my heart.
That's where you want to be.
And
mine too. Like I very much want to have an impact on the island through our investments. We hope that there's an impact through employing people at a nice wage, but also having people to be able to find a place that they can live that wouldn't be there if we don't buy something and fix it up. Or in this case, we buy something and build 200 houses, which, by the way, I've never done before. Right? Like I've never been a ground up builder.
My partner has.
There's a need. Your partner has. We have some land, so we can make a big impact, right?
I say we will.
Yeah,
we will. I'm very positive. He is too. You are. So everybody's optimistic about the project.
Yeah.
And you guys are being flexible with us about how we're going to finance this.
Yeah.
Which is another big deal because everything costs money, and we are already planning going with a machine to see the land and walk.
What kind of machine?
The big machine that cleans the land.
Like an excavator?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And we're doing that next week.
Okay.
To see what's in the blueprint is real.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, we'll confirm the cost of infrastructure.
Okay.
How much it's going to cost the water and electrics and poles and all that stuff.
Putting some roads in and all of it that goes with having a housing development of 200 houses. And so, guys, we do this a lot where we invite partnerships. If you watch our channel at all, that's something that I say on almost every video, that we expand our business to partnerships. So this is a case of that. Chris and I were talking about doing this and another kind of big project as well. But this is something that we would like to do with anyone in this audience, right? Like we like to partner with people and we want to encourage people to become real estate investors. So the deal structure, Adon just asked if we could talk about the deal structure a little bit on this Lares property, and you sort of alluded to it. We would probably come in as the financier of at least the land, right? So we have the land and we would put it in at a price and not ask for all of the money at one time.
In front,
so we give it in a way that's easy for you, and we sort of put the land in at a valuation that allows us to share in the upside if we can do really well with the development, right?
And there's a hard money deposit, which is their guarantee that we are going to work with the project. We're not going to waste their time or us, So there's a deposit that's hard money.
Mm-hmm.
We have certain amount of time to finish the houses, the structures that are there. We'll pay a balance, and then we join venture and everything else.
Yeah.
That's kind of
and
the
we
structure.
have a way out to get to even for everybody by just finishing the 8 houses that are there. So we're very fortunate that we can be super flexible in this case because we have these 8 houses that are sitting there, and if you finish those, we sell them at $125,000 or $150,000 a piece, and there's enough money to recoup your investment in mine, and we'll still have all of the land to build the rest of the houses. One day we'll make a profit.
One day it's going to take.
But it's nice to know that at least we're not going to probably lose any money, right? Like we can go into this knowing that we have some security, some safety.
Yes.
So that's good for both people. When you're setting up deal structures, you want to set up a structure in a way that everybody can win.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's a 45 acres or 46 acres, something like that.
45.
45 acres, 48 cuerdas, something like that.
Yes.
Yeah. It was a development that was in the works back in like 2005 and 2006. And the bank had provided some money to the developer, and then the market crashed, right, before he got to build it. And so then it just sat there for years and years, and we came across it. Catherine Maria, who runs the RIA, she knew someone who knew someone. This is Relationship Island. And I remember driving around the island with Catherine, and we looked at probably a dozen things that day. And at the end of the day, I said, Catherine, the one that's the deal is this Lares project. This is the one. So we went and negotiated a deal with the bank, and we've got the property.
When you got it, what was your idea when you got the land?
Oh, so I'm embarrassed to say that the idea was that we were buying the land really well, and that we figured we would find a partnership down the road. We weren't sure. We weren't sure. Yeah, we hoped that it would have gone a little faster than it did, but we weren't sure if we were going to do a hospitality play, which is something that we do quite often.
Yes.
PR Consultants, my company, we like that because there's tax credits and things like that. So we thought about doing a off-grid camping and glamping and not necessarily housing,
Yeah.
but more fun, more hospitality with horseback and maybe ATVs and stuff.
Listen, it's a great land to do that
Yeah.
if you have the energy and the desire to be there every day. I mean, you need to move there.
Yeah.
If you're going to do that kind of project, and finding the person who's willing to be there and love that kind of lifestyle, which is something completely
Which, by the way, isn't me, right?
Me neither.
I'm happy to invest in something like that, but
Right.
I'm never going to show up to run that property.
Exactly.
So if you're watching this channel and you're thinking about how can you partner with PR consultants, if you would be that person, if you are someone who wants to run,
Hey, maybe we do half of the land in
so if you like that hospitality thing, hit us up in the comments or send us an email at flipflopflipperpr@gmail.com. We'd love to talk to you about that. There's all kinds of ways to partner with people on the island of Puerto Rico because there's just so much opportunity.
Yes, there is.
But back to our Lares deal, when you asked the question, what was our plan? Our plan was we knew we bought it well, and we figured that I think we thought we would do the hospitality play, but finding someone who wanted to be there all the time became a challenge. And then we had other projects going. So ultimately, I think the partnership that we now have is far better for the island. So this
definitely,
this
especially
idea
for
is better
Lares,
for Lares, for the people of the island.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the major is happy with what we've been presenting. My partner.
You've spoken to the mayor in Lares already?
My partner has.
Oh,
they
awesome.
know each other. They know
Amazing.
the area.
Yeah.
And
I said again, that's his relationship
Yeah, I
island,
know.
right? So that's a good thing. It would be very hard for me to go sit down with the mayor of Lares.
Definitely.
But you have a partner who knows him and can do it.
So
And-
tomorrow he has a meeting in the municipality to receive. Oh no, this is in another place in Salinas, but he has a meeting with the mayor to get an endorsement or something like that he's working with. But he has a meeting with the mayor of Lares for the project, and they have already talked about it. It happens that my partner was there 25 years ago when that was been talked about doing so he knows the land.
Oh, so you're saying way back he saw
Way
what was
back.
going to be developed, even further back than I spoke about earlier.
Yes.
Well, yeah, 2005 is 20 years. Holy cow! Time flies, huh?
Yep.
Wow.
So, it's a blessing. I think things happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And it's our opportunity.
And the opportunity is not just for you and I, but there's going to be 200 homes that will come into existence that don't exist today. And there are vouchers on the island that people can use so that they can get into these homes with very little money out of pocket. And you were telling me about another program where a guaranteed loan possibly could be in place.
Urban
at low
development.
interest.
He has already talked with them, but they haven't been there. He's going to take them there probably next week after he cleans everything, because they need to drive around the land.
Okay.
Once urban development approves the project, people would have the benefit of getting a loan through any bank, guaranteed by urban development. They'll get 100% of the financing at a very low rate.
Wow.
Which is to help people.
Yeah. Yeah, we
And-
want to encourage home ownership, right?
Homeownership.
And during the storm of Maria, a lot of houses were lost. And we're still trying to recover from that.
The last time I received the R3 vouchers list in Lares and the towns around it had 200 vouchers without houses.
So 200 people who have vouchers to get houses and
And no
don't have
houses.
a prospect of a house. And why is that? That's because there's no developers building them.
No development. And, in Puerto Rico, there's over 300,000 properties that are empty that belongs to a family or stuff like that. But if you want to be able to use that R3 voucher, that voucher is guaranteed by HUD. And HUD has new codes of construction. The majority of the houses that are abandoned were constructed before the new codes.
Right.
So to put that house up to code, it costs so much money that it's not worth it for a flipper to buy the house and send.
In order to bring it into compliance today, you'd be better off building something
and then
new.
wait another 6 months to get the government to finish the process. I mean, sometimes happens in 3 months.
I'm sorry, but 6 months is very kind to the government.
Right.
There's nothing that happens quickly from the government of Puerto Rico. I'm just sorry. It's funny. We do a lot of hospitality stuff, and then people will say, "Oh, you get all these tax breaks and these tax credits." And if you only knew how difficult it is to jump through the hoops with anything, but when you're trying to get tax credits or money out of the government, any government, but let's say the Puerto Rico government, it takes what is hard and kicks it up like 10 levels, right? Like they're just going to make it, they're going to make it so
Very
painful
difficult.
that most people will just say, oh, I can't do it. And so that's a real struggle. It's we know that there's these opportunities, but in order to get them from the government, it's a difficult task.
Not only the task, the amount of money and time you have to put in.
Yeah.
And then wait and wait and fight and wait until you get the tax credit.
And it's not just go build 200 houses. It's build 200 houses in this way, employ these people, use these products. So, I mean, you have to jump through a whole series of hoops in order to qualify for all of whatever this gift is that they're giving you. There's 10 things you've got to do to get it.
I don't know if you've seen the requirements for CDBG MIT, which is mitigation.
Okay.
So program, you do an RFP, and they open a RFP to receive projects like Lattice, for example.
Right.
When you read all the requirements, one of them, to give you an example, is that the property must use Puerto Rican cement.
Huh. Okay.
So you have to read the whole. So if you want to bring a house that might be Hurricane 5 approved and HUD approved and everything is perfect, and you can bring that in a container, you can do it.
You must use,
which means that the cost is going to be higher because there's materials that will hold a hurricane in Puerto Rico.
Yep.
And they don't require cement.
Right.
But they want to prove it.
So, well, then that leads us kind of a nice segue into the other project that we're working on together, which is prefabricated house that's built in a warehouse somewhere or built on an assembly line and then shipped to the island. Hopefully one day we'll build them here in a warehouse or an assembly line here on the island. But for now, they would come in on a boat. They'd be imported. And then they're very quick, they're fast, they're easy to go up. They're beautiful, and they meet all the requirements, and they can have off-grid power, they can have everything, but it's not going to qualify for these kind of programs that you're talking about.
It won't qualify.
That's unfortunate, and I didn't know that. Can we make it qualify by having a slab that's built with Puerto Rico concrete?
Maybe. We need to consult that.
Yeah, we'll have to figure that out.
And the RFP, I mean, we'll need to see at the end how much it's going to cost us to build this.
Yeah.
And we are kind of experimenting, and learning the process of these modular homes and how we're going to transport that and where you're going to build them. But,
because you and I, we've gone and looked at properties and we're driving up there and you're like trees over the twisty, curvy up mountain road.
Electric.
Like, how the heck are we going to get one of these houses up here on a truck?
Exactly.
It's impossible unless we helicopter it in.
Exactly.
So there's all where there's an opportunity, there's a problem. And vice versa, where there's a problem, there's an opportunity, right?
So, I mean, they're beautiful. You build them in 2 weeks, which is record time. I mean, once we have the cement.
Once we figure out this.
Right.
Because we want to be able to jump through the hoops and give the island what it's asking for and allow the island to reward us in the way that they're offering to, right?
The advantage of this technology is that we can accommodate all the needs of any client.
Yeah. Any kind of configuration.
Any kind of configuration.
It could be working class homes that are 1,100 square feet, and it could be a 10,000 square foot palace.
Exactly.
That someone puts in Dorado up on a cliff or something overlooking the ocean.
And that is something special about the project.
Yeah.
And I think will give us the opportunity to become a custom house, not that expensive because we have a module that we can accommodate.
Yeah.
So we'll be able to help or to service the people between $300,000 and $600,000 properties.
Yeah.
That might be able to get a bigger house because it's cheaper than having an architect to build one from zero.
Yeah.
Which is another segment.
Yeah.
And so we'll be able to serve the low-income housing and now the middle-income people who can afford that kind of houses.
That's right. What's next with that? Like, we have a piece of land that you found in Rio Grande, right?
Yes.
And I know Sal.
I'm waiting from Sal the 3D rendering.
Okay.
I don't know if you saw the last design. I said,
I saw that I got it in my email, but I didn't see it. Sorry, Sal.
but I said it looks great for me. It's a simple. I like the layout. It looks like a Puerto Rican home.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
They were able to change a few things. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
can you imagine? Like a lot of people, like they're coming from LA or Colorado, and they might want to give us a house that's got a roof line like this, and be like, but it doesn't look like anything that's ever been here before. So let's keep to the look, right? There's a look here that people like. I like it too, especially this modern. And I think what we can do with ARC is a very modern looking, good looking house. So,
and it's a fair price. I mean,
yeah.
Let's see how we end it, but it's not far from everything else in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, you're saying that it's slightly cheaper to build than the block construction. Maybe it's not even cheaper. Maybe it's the same or on par with, but it's so much faster. And that's where you can save the money, is that it's just
labor
so much faster. The labor should be less, and it's so much faster. Yeah. So, and once we jump through the hoops and figure out how we can get this stuff to be approved so that we can get a certificate of occupancy, then we will be able to do some of that lift, right? Like, so if you're out there and you're thinking of building a house on the island of Puerto Rico, and you've got to get architects, and you've got to get engineers, and you have to pull permits, and you have to have contractors.
We have all that.
We can take care of all of that through this process and make it easy, and basically
and the company
give you choices,
has the service,
and give them choices, and let them say, I like this, I like that. Put these together.
Yep.
They're kind of like Legos almost.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So it's really cool.
Modular homes.
Yeah.
It's interesting, and then later we'll put together, if it's feasible and makes sense, we'll make a manufacture of those homes here in Puerto Rico, and then we'll help with labor, and we'll help Puerto Ricans to have a good job.
I think ultimately that's where I see it going, is that it won't just be that we ship in some houses from the mainland or from Mexico. I'm not
Mexico
sure
right
where they
now.
come from.
Yeah.
But we would be able to actually employ people to build them in a factory here on the island, which is great. Now we're talking about more jobs, high-paying jobs. That's where I think both of us have that heart, right?
Yeah.
And
we'll do some opportunity zones with that. There's plenty of benefits.
There's lots of benefits. Yeah.
I'm happy. I'm an optimistic person. I believe that things happens if you keep focused in what you want, and if your heart and your brain and your focus is in the right place, things are going to show up.
Yeah.
And we know each other for 2 years something now, and
we started out at the breakfast at my house, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So you guys have heard me talk about that before, where I used to have a breakfast club at the house in order to do deals with people. And Chris and I it took us 2 years to get there, but we're going to get there. So,
but it's going to be 200 homes.
But it's going to be 200 homes. Yeah, that's right. This isn't just one little flip or something. That's right. Tell us about yourself, about how you got into real estate, and just kind of introduce yourself to everybody here.
Well, I started in real estate 2020, not that long ago.
So you're new at this.
I'm new at this, but I have keep up fast, learn fast. And I have a very business mind personality and mindset. I used to do events before I did real estate. And I'm very big in learning and doing masterminds and stuff like that. And I have done 3 Tony Robbins events live. And my last one was Business Mastery. When I came from Business Mastery, was the 25th of January, and I resigned next day. I said, I need to do something else.
So what was your job?
I was the COO of an event company.
Okay.
And we were partners with GFR at the end of those 11 years. But I was tired of it. I had too much work, decent salary, but I was not going to be it was too far from where I wanted to go.
So you go to this event, and you hear something that causes you to be able to have the courage to say, I'm gonna make a big change.
It started before. It started when I did the first Tony Robbins events. It was Unleash the Power Within. That happens in December 2018. And I started, seeing that it was possible.
Yes.
That it was everything about how I thought and how I deal with my fears and the rejections and all that stuff.
Right.
A year later, I did Date with Destiny.
Okay.
That day, I met a friend. The first day, I didn't have that much money, so I had an Airbnb that was an hour away. I mean, half hour away driving, but I had to take a bus and a train to go to the event every day.
Mm-hmm.
But I said, okay, no problem. First day, I meet this guy from Canada, Brian, good friend of mine today. And we're talking, we're sitting by each other, and I said, where are you staying? And I said, I'm staying in this place. Well, I don't know where I'm staying. I think I'm near there. And he's, oh, that's cool. How you got here? Said, by train. I'll pick you up in the morning. He said, oh, no worries. You don't have to do that. Hey, I'm 5 minutes away. That led us to a very good friendship because in Date with Destiny, you work with yourself. He was going some trouble with his marriage and we, every morning and every evening, we share what each one learned and stuff like that. And that became a very good friendship. After that, I had already taken my real estate license test that I had passed. Mm-hmm. So I'm just waiting for my license, but I'm still working as an operation manager for the company. Mm-hmm. And I have a lot of work. I had events and big clients and, but I was the employee. And I come back and one day he texts me, are you going to Business Mastery, which was my dream? But that event cost $10,000.
Wow.
Only the ticket.
That's not a small investment.
That's not a small investment.
Yeah.
And I had spent already $7,000 in the one before, between the hotel and this is no way possible. I just got here, I have to save some money. And he says, if money's not an issue, will you go? This is by text. And I said, yes, of course. He said, I bought my ticket, and with my ticket, I have a guest that I can bring.
Wow.
I have a friend who was going with me, but I think he's not going. If he doesn't go, will you go? And I say, absolutely. Mm-hmm. I'll text you tomorrow. Next day, he texts me. He's not going. I want to make sure that whoever I invite will take advantage of this opportunity. And I want you to go. I go online, buy my airplane ticket. Same price, $286. A week later, I'm in Business Mastery.
Wow. That's amazing. That's a great story. A good friend. And
I believe, God makes everything possible somehow.
I was going to say, everything you just said is why I do this YouTube channel. Because I believe that there's greatness inside of everybody out there, right? Yeah. And the belief in themselves, it's a difficult thing to get there, right?
And to master.
And even if you start to have it, it's so easy to fall back into old habits and things like that. I love Tony Robbins. I have never been through these courses that you've been to, but I've been to one event and I walked on the coals. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was amazing.
and I tell people on the YouTube channel all the time, like, you can do this, right? Like, this is not something that you have to have a silver spoon in your mouth. This isn't something that you have to be born into or have rich parents.
Anyone can do it.
Anyone can do this.
Yes.
And if money's not an object, would you, right? And so people would say that, but it still took you had to first agree to accept the gift from your friend. And then you had to take and invest your time to go and buy the plane ticket. And then in doing that, you quit your job. You became somebody new. You're now in business for yourself. We're going to build 200 homes. I mean, think of all of the positive things that happen from you doing these different things, from just taking these little steps. It's a really amazing thing.
I've been doing Mastermind since I did Unleash the Power Within, since 2018. And today I'm a coach, implementation coach for the same people who
through the Tony Robbins thing, or
no, it's called Pivot Me. Her name is April Garcia. She's my personal coach.
Okay.
And she has helped me take every big decision in my life.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they consult and what should I do? And say, well, don't do this, don't do that. To give you an example, when I received my license, I said, I'm going to work with this lady that I met in Tony Robbins. And she said, and is she successful? So, well, I think so. She has. How much money does she make? I said, I don't know. Where she lives, I say in Condado. She pays her home or her husband? I don't know. You're not working with her. I said, why? You're going to find out the top 3 companies in Puerto Rico. With all those contacts that you have, you're going to find out who knows the owner of some of those. You are not going to go to a secretary. You're going to go to a CEO. So I talked with a friend, and then I need to talk with the top guy in real estate. He said, you're going to work with Ivan Zavala. Who's the guy?
Yeah.
A week later, we are having a meeting, and I signed with them next day.
Yeah.
And that was my first school.
And guys, if you don't know Ivan, because you don't know Puerto Rico real estate, this is a big deal, right? Like everyone in Puerto Rico knows Ivan Zavala. He's the guy. He's the guy. So this is an amazing story.
And it happens because she coached me to look for that person.
Right.
That I didn't know.
Right. Don't go to the small broker. You're going to go find the best, and she
so
speaks
that's
it to you. You put it in. You get it to go into existence. That's amazing.
And today we are here talking. I mean, I'm honored to be in your podcast, and it's a gift for me. But it's also it's the testament that anything is possible, and that once we finish those 200 houses and we close them, we might sit down again and do another podcast about the journey.
For sure. I think even before that, we'll talk about the process as we go along. But even in this conversation now, my mind's already thinking of other things we can do together. So we didn't plan to talk about this, but we're launching a mastermind of our own through this YouTube channel. And so I would love for you to be a part of that. And I think your story that you just gave, if there's ever been a better advertisement for someone joining a mastermind kind of organically, man, I don't know that I've ever seen it, right? Like that's pretty powerful stuff. And that's what can happen when people will take the step to jump into a mastermind or go to an event, or you don't even have to do that. I mean, consume a whole bunch of YouTube stuff and then go do your thing, whatever your thing is. As soon as you've got the courage to do it, go do it.
I started in real estate, and I decided to do real estate because I was listening to Grant Cardone. And he was teaching how to buy houses and rent, and I was going to be 50. I was 48 or 40. And I said, that's what I'm going to do. I don't have money saved, but I know that in 20 years, 17 years, I'll be able to buy 20, 25 houses and live my life with the rent that those houses are going to bring, and I'll give it to my kids when I die.
Wow.
That's how I decided to do real estate. And this mentor that I had also in real estate told me he makes a lot of money with Kmart and Sam's and Costco. He's a landlord. And that's with him is how I met Ivan. And Ivan and I created Echando Raíces, which was a program that we created together, which was a mentorship. And we did it with 2 reasons: to help the new people, but also to recruit new agents to the company.
Yeah.
And Ivan was the mentor, obviously, and I was the host of the.
Ivan has a big heart for the island of Puerto Rico and the people of Puerto Rico.
He's 100% Puerto Rican. He loves Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
But I said in one of these interviews that I did with him, I said, mentorship is a shortcut for success. You avoid the mistakes. And that example that I just gave about my coaching saying you are not going to work with her is the example of how experience help the person who's starting process.
That's right.
And mentorship does that. And if you have a mentor who cares, who's willing to be there with you, you know, and it's how you become successful.
I agree. Yeah, that's right. So I think I have to say you're invited to be part of our mastermind.
We'd love to.
And guys, you guys are all invited to be part of the mastermind as well. And in the description of this video, we'll put a form that you can fill out and get in touch with us. Let us know who you are, and we will reach out to you about that. This is something we're doing now for the first time ever. We've done YouTube now for a few years. hundreds, maybe 1,000 or more videos that I just tell people, just give it away. Here's what we do. Here's why we do it. And I think we can do more. And I think we can do more if we're intentional about it and we form these mastermind groups. So I again, that was powerful to hear that. And that was completely unscripted. Yeah. That was just we're just having a conversation, and amazing. So I love it.
And I'll encourage also the people to go to the cruise next year.
Yes.
We're going to do something about real estate. We don't want to say anything right now, but Davin Michael says already yes. So we just need to figure it out exactly what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. But for sure, we can have a segment of Mastermind only of real estate and just talk to people about Puerto Rico. And we'll talk about that and help people whoever is there.
Yeah, and the beautiful thing about the cruise is that it's very laid back. You're there for a vacation, right?
Have fun.
So this is experiential, like 90% experience and having fun and getting to know people, and then 5 or 10% is going to be business and stuff like that. But I can't recommend this cruise more. This isn't my cruise. This is your cruise and Davin's cruise. I happened to go on it, and we had an amazing time. You guys delivered. There are levels to delivery. Your delivery level was way up here.
Thank you.
And I didn't even do it well. Like we didn't plug in and get to know people on day one. I'm telling you, next time I'm going to be there. I'm going to be at every event, and I'm going to take full advantage of it.
What we know already is that we'll have more hours. We'll have more masterminds and more time because we'll be more time in the sea, which allow us to do more.
So tell us the name of the cruise then.
San Juan Social Cruise is the name of the website. SanJuanSocialCruise.com.
Yep.
It's going to show you everything about the cruise. Then you reserve now, and depending of what room you take, how you call it, another room,
what cabin you're in.
What cabin you in, then whatever, that's what you're going to pay, right? And
so there's different levels, right? Like, so if you have an interior cabin, it's not very much money at all. It's probably
very
cheaper
cheap
to go on a cruise than it is to just live almost every day. And then if you have it outside, it goes up. If you have a balcony,
exactly.
You're a big baller. I think you
have
a cabin this time, right? You're going to be.
I think I'm going to have the same one. I spend so much little time
in the cabin.
Yeah. I mean, between the masterminds and the excursions and all that. But go there, choose Robert. When it's going to ask you who refer you, you put Robert or Christopher, you choose that name, and then you go ahead and choose the cabin and pay for the first payment. You don't have to pay for the whole thing right now. You do 3 payments.
Yeah, and it's easy to sign up now. It's the best price ever. I know I was with Davin last night at an event, and he said that soon the prices are going to go up.
Yes.
So it's not till next March, so you have lots of time to think about it. You can put a deposit down. We're definitely going. Linda and I are going. You'll be there. Already, 80% of the people who went on the first
I think more
cruise,
already. It's 275 people already signed in.
And, I was saying that of the 250 that went, 80% signed up to go next year.
Before they left the cruise.
Before we even got off the boat. I was one of them.
Yeah, me too.
I signed up to go on the next one. And I'm telling you guys, I did not anticipate that would be the case.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't go on this cruise thinking that there'd be lots of business opportunities. I hoped that I'd make a friend. That was sort of the thing. We were trying to unwind and relax a little bit.
The caliber of the people that goes to this event.
Yes. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Want to put yourself in a room with some power brokers? You go on the San Juan Social Cruise. And there will be just next level player after next level player in just about every field, right? Marketing or real estate or blockchain, everything you can think of that's kind of cutting edge. Accountants,
tax people, lawyers,
yeah. So that was it. That's great.
Thank you.
Let's do this again. We'll definitely talk more about the Lares project as it goes on. Guys, thanks for watching that video. And if you want to come on the San Juan cruise with us, hit us up. We'll put a description.
Or you can find me on my website. It's riverachris.com. Easy. It's my last name and my nickname. riverachris.com. My phone number is 787-948-8051. And you'll find all my social media, LinkedIn, contact information in my website. So pretty much you go there and you'll find all my contact information.
And before we go, I should say, guys, I get this question a lot. Who's a good realtor on the island of Puerto Rico? This guy. So now you got his contact. You got no experience.
Yes.
You got no excuse. and really, you have an advocate, right? Like, so if you contact Chris when you're coming to the island, he's going to bend over backwards for you. It's just, you're a very service oriented guy.
Yeah.
And I highly recommend you guys reaching out to Chris.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, everybody.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching the video. God bless.